is ESPN Radio 102.7 and 1450 WWKU Plum Springs and W247BQ Bowling Green. ESPN Radio 102.7.
It's time to jump into the luxury imports of Bowling Green, BMW, Mercedes, Sports Webb, with your host, Brian Webb. Also starring Vegas Frank and Against the Odds, brought to you by JBK Network Consulting. Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill presents WKU Lady Tops golf coach and PGA teaching professional Adam Gary in Gary on the Green. It's The Good Fit with Jeremy Harris and Sports Webb baseball analyst Danny Hartong from First Step Orthotics. WKU Sports Analysis with Garrett Browning, plus the Culver's High School Player of the Week. And all phone interviews and guests appear via the Linux of Bowling Green Hotline. Now, from ESPNKY.com, here's your host, Brian Webb.
Hello and good evening. I'm staring at the best-looking man in radio, Danny Hartong, Garrett Browning behind the board. Brian Webb here getting ready to get things started. Folks, if you're just tuning in, you're probably off work. Whoo, good for you. Listen, stay tuned because when you hear, it'll be either before or after the break, when you hear Danny Hartong's intro, third caller, 4 tickets, Cubs versus Reds. And that is on May the 16th, next, I think, Thursday night.
And these are good seats,
These are
y'all.
great seats.
Got time to ask off work if need be.
Good point.
Third
Got
call.
time to make up an excuse.
I hit pay dirt on K dirt.
I had Country House. Speaking of, let's just
I just
start.
had to tape my ticket back together first. Took me
I had
a
to
day.
unwrinkle
I
and
actually
iron
wonder how many
mine.
that happened.
I ironed my ticket. They're going to give up to $10, I think, or something. That's a
wild.
joke.
That's
But my whole, and you'll probably hear this again later in the show, but here's my whole derby. I mean, what in the world? What happened?
Stay in your lane, bro.
Stay in your lane. Listen, you do not make that call in the 145th running for the Roses.
It's first time, isn't it?
First time in history. No, now, could it have been called? I'm sure it could have been called.
He did move over, too.
He was in the lead. That
He
horse,
moved over,
the
too.
horse's discretion, a sloppy, wet track. There was absolutely no reason to take that victory away from that horse.
I love horse racing, and I really do. But what I saw didn't impede the horse that ran second.
No.
Not at all. It was
Will and Warren is the one who got
right.
impeded.
And
I mean, if you want to call it
if
that.
you want to call it that. But the horse never hinged up, never seized.
Did not break stride.
And never
really,
broke
that I
stride.
saw.
It was kind of a weak call.
It was. I don't know if I can
It was
say
a
that on
makeup
the
call
radio.
in the fourth quarter.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly.
It's an NBA
Yeah,
call.
that horse flopped right
It
out
did.
down in the middle.
It was
I don't know.
Ed Malloy!
On a serious note, though, I mean, I feel like they've basically reversed horse racing because it's going to now. I think it's going to be scrutinized like boxing, and you know what happened to boxing.
Oh, absolutely. But the thing is, on that something like that, they're going to watch it even closer now. And a horse is a horse, of course. But no, the horse. They're not going. They're going to go where the jockey is going to.
Absolutely, and if you
Move
look,
them.
you can see he is keeping that horse to the right
But
during the
he
ride.
also has his whip on the left. If you're looking at that, and I looked at that and went, he could have like flanged him over, but he could have stayed in his own lane too.
He could have. This is what happens.
I'm not trying to.
I'll tell you why. I think my opinion of this, Garrett. This is what happens when you have too many horses coming out of too many gates.
That's ridiculous.
It should be a 14 to 15 horse race.
Tops.
It should not be a 20 horse race.
Or 20.
Ever.
It's 22.
22, I think, a couple years ago. Because you don't know what the track conditions are going to be like. That's a dangerous race on a dry, good turf track.
Why does it always rain at Louisville this
It
time
always
of year?
because Jesus doesn't like gambling.
Last time I went in 2009, it rained the night before, so we had a beautiful day, and that was the one with Follow That Bird. Won that. And
I've been to 11 derbies, and it's rained like 6 of them.
Yeah, it rained the night before, so we had a beautiful day. But I mean, it was still a mess. It was still a mess on the track. But my friends came up from Nebraska, And this gal that handicaps a little bit, Bonnie Barty, she had the trifecta, paid $5K.
Oh.
Yeah, took me out for a steak that night.
I hope so.
Yeah, you
Somebody
better believe
supposedly had a $65,000 winner at Churchill, and it's not been claimed. And so basically,
I hope they tore it up.
I mean, how is that possible?
But
They threw it into the crowd.
Exactly, dude. They said bettors lost $8 million on that bet on that race.
I've heard
alone.
42 million.
I heard that was the only figure I had ever heard, but it was 8 million.
I mean, and we're not taking
42 sounds better.
That
though.
sounds a little better. I guarantee it was at least that. Just locally, Kentucky wagering. I would love to know what the global number waged on that, because I think Japan had a horse in the race, and they're betting it thick. There's some other ties like that to where if you knew the global number, I bet it's in the. I mean, it's way up there.
But that's the only figure I heard, and it was really crazy. I was driving home from Fairfield Glade. I was in Crossville,
Love
Tennessee,
Fairfield Glades.
and you talk
Love that
about some
course.
gorgeous golf courses, man. And I'm getting play-by-play from my wife driving all the way home. It's like, no. And I get to Nashville, and they go, the Stewarts
Yeah, I would.
are having a problem.
I bet they had to helicopter them out of there, man. They didn't walk through the crowd. Can you imagine?
Did you see the owner of that horse go absolutely nuts after
Yes.
they splashed it on the scoreboard, man? That's crazy.
I would have lost it. I mean, I can't
I
believe they
would
did
have torn
it.
my ticket like G here.
I just can't believe they did. Yeah, we got to iron it out. He's got to
We got to piece
ape
it
his back together.
All the barcodes.
I almost bet that horse down at Dueling Grounds the other day. I went down there Saturday morning. I almost bet it because I like to throw.
Really?
I like to throw $2 or $3 on
Sure.
the long shot, and it was him and that other horse, and I didn't do it. I was like, no, I'm gonna save my $3. Nice.
Nice.
Baseball. Let's talk some baseball.
I tell you what, I want to talk about, and this is not just because this is the Cincinnati Reds affiliate station, but they're playing some good baseball, and I'm really proud of them.
1-run losses are killing them.
They are, but the pitching is actually really well. Castillo's throwing well. DeSclafani, unbelievable. Sonny Gray's throwing him well.
I heard on the broadcast the other day, they were actually first in the NL. I think this was either Saturday or Sunday on their pregame broadcast. Going into the game, they were first in the NL.
They are.
And they were also first in the NL in home runs allowed, which is probably the most surprising out of those stats.
Yeah, out of those two. And they're actually number one in WAR.
Wow,
It's-
yeah.
it's-
I would
isn't that
definitely
crazy?
not believe that.
I wouldn't either. And I was listening to that, but they're getting a little rumblings out of Raisel Iglesias, the closer, because they're putting him in tie games, which is they use him as a power thing, but he's 1-5 in that. But he's grumbling about that because he's never been put in that position. But when they came to him at the beginning of the year, they said, "This is what we're going to use you for. You're our closer, but if we get into 7th or 8th inning and it's tied, we're going to put you in." Well, consequently, he's 1-5 in that, so he's feeling a little backside hurt on that. But it is what it is. But take it what it is. You guys are playing good baseball. Nick Senzel is a bomb.
We were talking about that during the break, too, is that really the Reds coming into the year, if you looked at their roster on paper, if Scooter Gennett is healthy, the infield, it's pretty well set.
They're solid. Solid.
You've got a solid infield. You just got to find some consistency in the outfield part. And, I think Senzel, is he their top prospect? I mean, he's got to be a top 3 prospect, if that.
Him and Dietrich were absolutely. Dietrich best gets together. He's going to be fine. Iglesias is playing well. Suarez is really good. You
love Suarez.
But you have Votto. Puig's got 4 dingers, so he's not
Man,
total
that guy's
loss.
a beast.
But they got and I felt bad that who they just dropped that they picked up from Los Angeles Dodgers.
Wood? Was it the pitcher
No,
Wood?
wasn't Wood.
I
It
don't
was
know.
gosh, I'll think of it here.
What
in a
about
minute.
Sandoval though? 114
The
years.
Kung Fu Panda?
Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
Love that.
Not since 1905, I think is what they said. He pitched, and he's the third baseman. This all happened in the one game.
And it was also the
B, the 18-minute B
gate.
game.
What in the heck? Did you see that?
He hit a home run also and a stolen base. And there's also a record 4 hits batsman in 1 inning. And that one game yesterday with the San Francisco Giants.
First time that 4 batters in one inning was since 1893. So there you go.
That's a wild arm, baby.
Hey, you were there for that one, weren't you, Brian? Do you remember that?
Yes,
I remember it like it was yesterday.
I was there that night.
But no, the Reds are, their record isn't showing. They've lost so many, like you said, one-run games. But this is not a cellar team, but they are. But I mean, they're in the cellar now. But this is a team I think can put it together.
6 games back. I can do it.
It doesn't.
That's NL
It
Central.
could easily be 2 games back.
Exactly.
It doesn't help that you're about to say it. The NL Central is, it's a doghouse. It's hard to get through there.
Mercy sakes, the Chicago Cubs are on an 8-game run right now, and who'd thought, St. Louis is hanging in there, Milwaukee, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's tough. They're all a good team, and it's going to be a dogfight. That Central's going to be fun to watch. You white, but that Tampa Bay Rays team of yours, man, they're not letting down, baby.
They put it on the Diamondbacks yesterday.
Did, brother, man. They are. Blake Snell's back in form again through no going into the 6th inning yesterday. It was.
I think the last outing gave up like 4 or 5 runs in 3 innings.
That was right off the IL, and don't ever say DL. But he put 6 no innings on him. Man, he's dealing, baby.
Yeah, those Rays, they're still atop of the AL East. Of course, the Yankees are dealing with a ton of injuries right now, and those Red Sox, they've got all sorts of things going wrong. Of course, they're in the news now for the White House visit with Alex Cora and company, but they have a lot bigger problems. They're not even 500. The Red Sox 17-19. They're only 6 games back right now, but for the defending World Series champion,
Red Sox got problems. I thought I'd give them a few weeks, but no, they got major problems. They got injuries, but
instead of bees at their next game, the Red Sox will be pterodactyls.
Or the dragons from
Ostriches.
Game of Thrones or something like that. But they put Senzel in the 6th spot tonight. That's ridiculous.
I was just showing Danny line up.
They put Votto on top, which that's not abnormal. But Senzel, why'd they put him in the 6th spot? I don't understand that. That's ridiculous.
They're mixing it up.
But, I mean,
trying to get away from a one-run loss.
Coach Bell, come on, call me.
Call me. Call us. When we come back,
you want to give your number out first?
Yeah. What is that
blank,
number?
blank, 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 blank.
Do you want to go see the Cincinnati Reds? Do you want to see them play your Cubbies, maybe? Your Reds? Whatever your team is, those are 2 that you can find some excitement. A little trip up to Cincinnati. When we come back, you're going to hear Danny Hartong's intro for Major League Baseball. We're going to continue the discussion. We'll touch on a few other things as well. Later on in the show, I've got a young lady. I'm going to read some comments from Alex Grubbs, one heck of a softball player, Greenwood Lady Gator. And we also have Emmy Bender's interview on. I went over and covered her signing the other night with Transylvania University volleyball. Good stuff there. So a lot of stuff going on. Vegas Frank, Gary on the Green, all on the Line X hotline coming up later. Luxury Imports of Bowling Green Sports Web coming at you right now. 5:13, we come back from the break, and you hear that. You're going to call 270-846-0222. That's 270-846-0222. If you want to go see the Cincinnati Redlegs in really, really good seats, maybe Danny will tell us. There's pretty good seats right there.
Oh, you better believe it.
Great seats. So these are not chump tickets. So give us a call, 270-846-0222. Sports Web. Be right back after these messages, ESPN 102.7.
Culver's wouldn't be what it is today without the family farms that grow and produce the wholesome, delicious food we so proudly serve. From the cattle ranches of the Great Plains to the dairy farms of Wisconsin and south to Georgia's chicken country, it's important to us to make sure farm families across the nation clearly see how Culver's remains committed to sourcing the finest ingredients America's growers have to offer and how thankful we are for their hard work and dedication. Culver's, Scottsville Road in front of Greenwood High. Welcome to Delicious.
The future has arrived at Luxury Imports of Bowling Green. The 2020s are here, and there's room for everyone and everything in a 2020 Mercedes-Benz GLE 350 SUV with leases starting at $699 a month for 36 months with $47.93 due at signing. Or be one of the very first to drive the first ever history-making BMW X7 with standard 3-row seating. Pre-orders are available now. Luxury Imports of Bowling Green, 325 Three Springs Road, online at luxuryimportsofbowlinggreen.com.
Man, what happened to your truck?
Well, got myself a prize 10-point buck, and well, you can see where it was laying.
Nice bloodstain, dude. You should have seen Linex of Bowling Green for a spray-in liner.
For whatever you get into, trust Linex of Bowling Green with the largest auto aftermarket franchise in the nation. Pro installation of spray and bed liners, B&W gooseneck hitches, vent visors, bug shields, step bars, running boards, toolboxes, and WeatherTech floor mats. LineXofBowlingGreen.com. Stop by 3351 Louisville Road at the Porter Pike and Plum Spring intersection.
This is a Morgan & Morgan consumer message.
In choosing the law firm to represent you, pick a firm that's been around a long time. I've seen so many come and go. And pick a firm with the financial strength to give you the best chance to be fully compensated. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Whether it's a car crash case or an insurance dispute, you need a firm which can match the other side dollar for dollar. Let us fight for you. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. Offices Bowling Green.
Preeminent, he's expected to have enthusiasms. What of mine? What draws my admiration?
And now your Major League Baseball update with Danny the Limb Hartong. First up, Prosthetics and Orthotics, 31W Bypass next to Batteries Plus in Bowling Green.
Enthusiasm.
Oh, man, phone lines lighting up.
Oh, look at those things light up, baby. No, it's baseball is now 1/4 of the way through the season.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's right. 40 games,
Hard
baby.
to believe.
And it is. It really is. But the cream's starting to come to the top. But the team I really, really impressed with that I've been watching is the Minnesota Twins in the AL Central.
You're not kidding. They're on fire.
I tell you what, man, they're hitting the ball. Their pitching is Odorizzi has just come as former Tampa Bay Ray, of course, just coming to light. Barrios, those guys are just pitching lights out. They're hitting the ball. Rosario is just mashing it. He lead AL leading 12 as of today. So, but the Boston Red Sox are a little disappointing. But the AL East is going to be wide open. The New York Yankees are still a walking mash unit. They are.
If they can ever get 9 straight guys healthy in the lineup, they'll be all right.
They're getting back Hicks this week and Andujar, but they just put Paxton on the IL. So it's hard to say. I don't know when Judge is coming back. They still say Stanton's still rubbing that torn up bicep of his, so it's hard to say. But the AL East, but I tell you what, they don't want to sleep too long on the Tampa Bay Rays because they're playing great baseball and they have one of the best pitching staffs I've seen in a long time with Glasnow and Snell, and they're tearing it up. They're playing small ball. They're playing exactly how to win. They're only averaging 5 runs a game, but it's enough because that pitching staff just stymieing people, and it's a lot of fun to watch. The AL West is coming back to earth for Seattle. They're in New York tonight, and Houston's starting to just heat up like crazy. And Correa's back, and everyone's pitching well there. I think Colin McHugh's throwing tonight for them, and California's playing a little bit better, but another team I like to watch was San Diego. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was about to try and give you a little tough one here. A couple of teams around 500 that have surprised you. I was gonna mention San Diego, but they're kind of so far above 500 now that I can't even include them in that conversation.
They had a nice game last night. DeGrom and Chris Paddock threw last night, and Paddock got the best of them. Got a 4-0 shutout, and I think went 7 1/3. And he was chirping a little bit. He's a Texas boy, and he said he wanted that kid from that stud from New York. Oh, I get so much. But he dealt it, and he came out on top 4-0. And DeGrom pitched a great game. I mean, he only gave up 2 runs in 6 1/3 or something like that. But
he's used to that with that Mets team.
Yeah, I mean, they're just not scoring well. I mean, Nemo couldn't hit his weight right now, and Lagares is not doing well. But it's San Diego. I mean, I didn't actually think with just Manny signing there it would do that much good, but it's not so much Manny. Their pitching is good. That Margatius, I'm trying to, if I said it right.
I'm going to believe you because I have not seen a Padres game all year.
Yeah, it's Margatius and Chris Paddock, man. Those are guys that 1-2, and they're a good 1-2 punch, and they're hard flame throwing kids, but they're all, everything's high in the zone with those guys, and everyone's just chasing them, man. And they're actually a lot of fun. But Los Angeles Dodgers are still the cream of the crop of the NL West, and they're not even real healthy, but they're playing enough, just good enough. Bellinger's just beating the rat out of the ball, and but I can go all over the NL Central with the Milwaukee and St. Louis and everything, but those guys are from top to bottom only 6 games apart, so it's crazy.
Let me give you a couple of these 500 teams, and tell me which one you're surprised with right now and which one has the best chance going forward towards September. We'll throw in there the Tigers, 15-16, third in the Central. The White Sox, they're 15-18, but they're just a game back of the Tigers. The Rangers, 16-16, they're 3.5 back, right at 500. The Pirates, 16-15, we kind of mentioned that one earlier. And then the Rockies right now, 16-19. Out of those teams, which one is the most surprising to you? And then which of those teams do you think has the best chance going forward?
Surprising that they won that many?
Either or. Won that many, lost that many?
I think the Tigers are more surprising they've won that many. Their pitching staff's pathetic to me.
Tell us how you really feel.
Pittsburgh, yeah, tell me how you feel about that. Pittsburgh, that doesn't really surprise me at all. Rockies are a little actually disappointing.
Yeah.
I think that's a real disappointing record.
That's
for them
the surprise
now.
there.
Yeah. Right, that is surprised as far as being that down.
The other teams are surprised for winning, but the Rockies are there surprised for losing.
Exactly, but no.
Rockies batting coach from Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Oh, sorry to throw him under the bus like that.
I won't say his name.
Hey, do your job, pal.
You heard it from
everyone
Danny
says
Slim.
you think that's a hitter's park. It really isn't that big of a hitter's park. It's just a non-pitcher's park. I mean, the ball flies, of course, there.
So thin.
But that course field is so large, you can hit it anywhere and hit double and triple there. That's the main thing about it. It's not hard to hit one out because of the air, but if you don't get good wind on the ball, you're not going to hit it out of that park.
I usually bet the over if I'm betting it.
True enough, but it depends who's pitching. If you have Baltimore in town, their pitch batting practice there. I mean, that's the
Yeah, you're going to be
that's going to be
yard off.
That's going to be your worst team.
Hey, you can't talk that much crap about the Orioles. I mean, Chris Davis finally got a hit. Is
that 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, that was a couple weeks ago. But it's still news to me,
it really
Danny.
Is, brother. It really
Remember,
is.
didn't they start off like crazy hot?
It was 0 for 54. 0 for 54. I mean, come on, man.
That's starting
and
off
I was actually
lay a bunt down.
Stand in front, take a hit.
I did a novena for him, so he would maybe get a hit. I feel so terrible because they pay him so much money, but no one feels probably worse than he does. But no, it's I think AL Central is going to be I think between Cleveland's just not playing well, and I think Twins are that good to take the AL Central. And I'm calling it right now. What is it, May 7th or 8th? I like Minnesota out of the Central. I actually like the Rays out of the East.
Ooh, how could you not?
I'm taking them.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'd be all over.
And out of the West, I think Houston's the perennial favorite, and I'm going to stick with that. But for a wild card team, I'm going to go the Anaheim Angels. Right?
Anaheim. Ah, Angel in the outfield.
Yep.
Sneaking up the bat.
Exactly.
I like it. Here's one that I would like to. She would love it if girls could play Major League Baseball, but they have college softball, and hopefully she'll decide to do that. Alex Grubbs, Danny, Garrett, she sent me. She got our Player of the Week last week for Culver's, and this week she gave me some words to say we couldn't get an interview done. So she sent me a great text that I want to share with everybody. My softball career has been full of ups and downs. I've learned lots of life lessons, and I've made lots of memories. My favorite memory was the diving catch my freshman year in the region tournament. I contribute my success to my parents and my hitting coach. They have always pushed me to be my best, and it has made me this player I am today. I have not decided if I am going to continue my softball career or not. Either way, playing softball has been one of the best experiences of my life. And she says, thank you so much for the opportunity to do this. Alex Grubbs, Lady Gator. What a great, been playing softball. Wasn't that awesome?
Congratulations.
Yeah, that was, very cool. That was well written, and I hope I gave it justice.
Well done.
Danny, any before we go to break, and we're going to catch up right after the break with Emmy Bender going to Transylvania University. And also Garrett took a call from a gentleman named Kevin Handy up in Hart County, listening on 1230 WCDS AM up there. Hart County boy, thank you. Good luck at the Reds.
Man, I hope if you're a Reds fan, I hope they beat the Cubbies, and if you're a Cubs fan, I hope the Cubs lose. Yeah, I hope you enjoy your afternoon though.
Yeah, enjoy the day.
I love it. He stayed with the Reds. Harbison will be so pleased. Any bombs you want to drop on us before we go to break?
I've got nothing.
Mustang. Let's hear it. We'll be right back. 1027.
We gone.
Hello, Vegas. Give me $100 on red.
$200 in tips, please.
Are you a professional?
What's your bet, sir?
Bet.
Hit me.
It's a bust.
Whoa! I am on fire.
Oh, he's good. He's good.
You're a winner!
Against the Odds with Vegas Frank is brought to you by JBK Network Consulting. JBK Network Consulting. We are IP everything. Working with complex organizations to achieve measurable business outcomes is what we do. Let Jim Grant and JBK Network Consulting go to work for you. Call 270-796-8935. Visit JBK Network Consulting at 1143 Fairway Place, Suite 105, and online at jbk.net.
It's time for Vegas Frank, all the way from sunny Las Vegas, Nevada. I've got him on the line. Against the Odds is the name of the segment, and it's coming to you from the Linex Hotline, brought to you by JBK Network Consulting. Frank, what's up, man?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Well, I'm doing okay, but I think we need to start this show with... What happened to the Kentucky Derby 145?
Well, it's fitting that it was raining again for a Kentucky Derby because we had an unusual situation, a lane violation or some crowding on the one side. I don't know if I've ever heard of that before. Didn't know that there was really instant replay. I mean, I knew that it was around, but I didn't really know that we were going to enforce instant replay. Never really seen anything like that. Obviously, the disqualification to one of the, I'd say one of the probably the co-favorites, Maximum Security, being disqualified. So it's unbelievable. I mean, it's I've never seen anything like it, and the sports book was usually pretty upset, but a lot of the people I was around were, I'd say, yes, very upset.
Very upset. And I think that was a sentiment that rang through not only Kentucky, but the racing world. And it sent shockwaves really down through. Now, I'm not a huge horse guy, and I'm not a Musburger, but the thing about it is, there's always going to be the checks and balances, and these things happen in regular races. This is not a regular race. A lot of things hang in the balance, like the Triple Crown. Unfortunately, we're not going to have much of a Triple Crown race horse this year because of this. And, we would have had one who probably, I'm going to say, would have went on to have won the Triple Crown more than likely, hadn't been beat in Maximum Security. So, I mean, to see this happen, it's one of those things to where, you see somebody's passing notes in class, but you don't really, raise your hand and tell the teacher, It's kind of like that. It's kind of one of those things to where the person who should have been upset didn't really raise the inquiry about it. It was a couple other riders that weren't really in the hunt. So that it's all odd to me. You know, I would hate it to have been a steward. Obviously, they made the wrong decision. I'm going to say it right here. You should never do something like unless he's beating the other horse with his stick and really impeding and bouncing off of each other. That didn't happen. He had a clear lane. He can take a dive any way he wants. And if you watch him, he was keeping the horse right. He was trying to keep him right. I saw a big water pool. I hadn't heard a lot of people talk about that. I feel like the horse wanted to get away from that, not knowing what was under that water. So horses are smart. And, I don't blame the jockey, I don't blame the race. I blame the conditions and too many horses, man. The Kentucky Derby is going to have to reevaluate having so many horses in this race. It's dangerous on a dry track, much less on a wet track. I'll get off my soapbox, but big mistake. They're going to turn it into boxing, Frank. They're going to turn horse racing into boxing now.
Well, I was kind of waiting for a press conference afterwards for them to talk to the horse. But I didn't know how the interview was going to go. But they could have questioned him. Listen, if a horse is going to do horse-like things, just like you said, they're trying to avoid a water puddle. They're trying not to run over each other. There's going to be evolutionarily, there's going to be a horse trying to occupy two spaces or one space. Two horses will try to force themselves into one space, because that is just the progression of how they're trained. So a rule violation based off of a tendency that is not a usual tendency. People are losing their minds over this, and they should.
Yeah,
it's bizarre. Obviously, this has never happened. So I mean,
not in the Derby.
I don't think. No, not in the Derby. It's never happened, and this is going to affect everything that you mentioned going forward. Maximum Security's ownership and training team says that he will not be competing.
Why run him?
So,
I mean, why would you? I mean, you risk getting him hurt in 2 weeks? That makes absolutely zero sense. I mean, I'm all about things that make sense, Frank, and that does not make sense on any level. All right, well, we'll put the Kentucky Derby to bed, run for the roses with a tarnished asterisk by it this year, which is sad to say. And another asterisk you could put by it is the Boston Celtics postseason. Man, they really have fell flat. I watched that game last night. First of all, they're up against a great team that you've been high on since way back before the All-Star break. And Giannis really coming along.
Well, you start to look at not just Giannis, but you start to look at the guys that he's got around him on the bench. Ilyasova, who's kind of gone full circle, coming back to the Bucks. Middleton. These guys are. I mean, it's a ridiculous lineup. They're doing all this stuff without Malcolm Brogdon, who may or may not be available. Coming up in the next few weeks.
This is true.
So that's going to be another factor. He is kind of like a spark plug, energetic, a good two-way player for them. So this is a team in the Bucks that could be very dangerous going forward. And I think, potentially even for a finals matchup, they match up really well with potentially the Warriors, or the Rockets. I mean, they match up with anybody. So and Giannis he's ridiculous. He's just so fluid. He's so long. He is strong. He's so strong. Like I say, they compare him to his fluidity and footwork. They compare him to a Kevin Durant. He's much stronger than Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I mean, he's a beast. And not to take anything away from KD, but, he's got a few years on him. So, I mean, if those two are the same age and on the same team, forget about it. It's over. You're not going to beat those guys. I just don't think the Rockets are going to be able to hang in there all the way to the Game 7. It might be a Game 7, but they're going to lose that game because at the end, Capella just cannot get it done in the paint, dude. I believe that's their weak link.
I tend to agree with you. I think that a big man with really good footwork, the next round is going to be very interesting for the Warriors. Whether they're playing Portland or Denver, it'll be very interesting because they both have big men with really good footwork in Jokic and Kanter for Portland. But I think that for this matchup, I mean, it seems like Harden's going to have to score 40 or really close to 40, and you're going to have to get really high production from Tucker, and you're going to have Chris Paul eliminate mistakes. And I don't know if you're going to have that happen 2 of the next 3 games.
No, you're probably right. And I mean, not that they're not fun to watch, because this whole postseason has been. I haven't missed a game. I fell asleep in a couple late ones, West Coast out your way, but that's it. I've seen every game, and they've been fun, man. I mean, it really looks like kind of like March Madness a little bit. I mean, that's how they're playing fast. They're not giving up on anything. They're chasing loose balls. They're doing things that you normally don't see them give 110 on in a regular season. That's what I love about the playoffs. You see the best. I mean, even Kyle Lowry stepped up. I mean, you know. So he's been kind of flat. So I mean, you get to see some of these guys like show you their full potential, which is fun to watch. But you know, nothing really beats that Nuggets Blazers series, man. That's one that you need to be watching that, guys and gals. That's a heck of a series.
Yeah, if you're not watching that, you're doing yourself a disservice. That's been a fantastic series. I mean, the 4 overtimes last week on Friday, you know, and over the weekend, the game was really good as well. This is a really fun series, good matchup. A lot of the, you know, more of the working class, I guess you would say, that's like more glamour is in the other series with the Warriors and the Rockets, but you're getting a little bit more blue collar with these guys, with Denver and Portland, the guys that are kind of like trying to grind it out a little more. They're kind of like coming up. They're the next wave of possible powers in the West. You know, they're not there yet, but they're getting there.
I tell you, you got to give hats off to, I mean, looking good. C.J. McCollum really stepping up. You know, Dame is Dame, you know, but, you know, this team's good, man. I mean, this Trailblazers team, it's fun to watch. I don't know what's going to happen in some of these. That's what I like about it, man. We're halfway through these playoffs series, this first round, and I mean, I don't know. Some of this is anybody's game still. I like that.
No, I agree with you. I think that the matchups have been really fun. Portland is so fun to watch. They've been so fun to watch during the regular season. A lot of people miss out on them because they're in that Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
You know, and they tend to play later. You know, when they're playing those double feature nights on TNT or ESPN.
Yep.
So you don't get to see them as frequently, but they're a lot of fun to watch. And I mean, Denver has just kind of flown under the radar all year long. As a team, there's a second best team in the West.
Yeah.
I mean, they're coming, and I mean they're only going to get better. Jokic has only played, I think they're 11 games into the playoffs for the Nuggets. He's had 4 triple-doubles.
Jeez.
So
yeah, that's
I mean,
amazing.
the guy is special. Really committed in the last couple off seasons to conditioning and getting himself like ready and in shape. He's been a professional basketball player since he was 16, so he's been around this, and he's been in the NBA only 4 years, but you can definitely tell in the last 2 years he's made major strides, and that guy's special.
True. Let me ask you this before we move on. NBA, I mean, this is a time of year you really see where the bigs are so needed, you know?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's about fluidity and footwork, and you're seeing it with Kanter and Jokic in particular. You need to have a big man that can have good footwork with his back to the basket, that he's comfortable with his back to the basket. Even in the way that we play the NBA now, with so many threes going up and everything, you still have to have a guy with an interior presence that's got good footwork.
100% agree. Not much coming out of the National Football League. You did have one little snidbit for me about ODB, didn't you?
Yeah, he was playing. He played last night. I think he was attending the Met Gala over there in New York. You know, everybody dresses up. They you know, a lot of them are wearing questionable outfits. It looks like a costume party. I really don't know if you call it outfits anymore. It looks like they're
like Comic-Con or something.
Yeah, like they're doing cosplay, or they're dressed like in like they're pirates or something. I don't know what's exactly going on. But he had like a skirt. He looked like kind of like a Rowdy Piper or something like that.
Was he wearing a kilt?
Yeah, it was a skirt.
It was
wearing a skirt, and he was wearing boots that had like higher wedges on it. It's like the guy's over 6 feet. Is like, why does he need to be that much taller? He's already wearing a skirt. I don't understand. But he said he wants to be the Tom Brady of Cleveland.
All right, I don't know what that
Win a
means.
title, buddy.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know either. I don't know.
Either way, he's going to score some touchdowns this year. I can almost guarantee that. There's going to be some nice. I can just see Baker Mayfield with that little sidearm lob in the back right corner, connecting with him over and over. I mean, it's dude, the Browns. I don't know. You got to let me know when Super Bowl predictions come out and lines on the. You know what I'm saying? You know, I need to know. I need to know what the line's going to be on them winning the Super Bowl because I might get on that.
I'm in. I'll check that for you.
Hey, man, you got a little UFC here before we turn it off. What's going on? Lesnar in the news?
Well, Lesnar's in the news, but he's sort of in the news indirectly because Daniel Cormier and Miocic fight's been set for August, delivering a rematch of the heavyweight championship. The reason why that's significant is because we had assumed that Lesnar would be fighting one of these two guys, Cormier in particular. Well, it doesn't look like they've got a contract settled. They always try to keep things secret with the contracts with regards to WWE because these guys are kind of shared properties, or Lesnar in particular is a shared property. We're going to see if Rousey is. But Lesnar is not going to be fighting in the UFC anytime soon, it seems, because he's re-upped with the deal. WWE does this international tour where they go to Saudi Arabia, and he's going to be part of that. So it does not look like for the foreseeable future that he's going to be fighting in the UFC, at least for the next 6 or 7 months.
Well, I'll tell you, and we got, it seems like there's going to be a good lady bout coming up, right?
This weekend, I want to say it's Namajunas. Rose Namajunas.
Andrade.
Yeah, and Andrade. She's a phenomenal fight. Rose is, I don't know, she's really kind of coming to her own. It could be her training camp. I mean, I guess it's her fiance is Platinum Mike Perry. HD Pat Barry is one of her training partners, and the guy has kind of coached her along. Is like also her boyfriend / I think fiance. I think they're engaged. They brought them along, and she's special, man. She's really special. She's kind of come along, really evolved the last few years. Really like Namajunas a lot, and I like her in this fight.
You've really evolved a lot, Vegas Frank, yourself.
Hey, thanks. I'm walking up right now.
Hey, man, before we get you teared up with joy and overwhelm you with solid thoughts, let's hear who you think is going to come out of these NBA postseason games. Who's moving on?
Well, I don't think that the Warriors are going to lose to the Rockets. I like the Warriors' experience. I like the Warriors in the conference finals against whether it's Portland or Denver, just because it's too much experience. I think the stage is going to be too big. And then, you know, as far as the Eastern Conference goes, I think it's going to be Milwaukee. And I'm going to say Milwaukee loses the NBA Finals in 7 games. I think it's going to be the Warriors in 7. Wow. It's going to be great, but I think Warriors.
Wow, man, I can't wait. If that's what happens, that's going to be very exciting finals. And you never know. We got a little ways to get there, though, Frank, and we got a little ways until next Tuesday. If you don't mind, can we dive into a little Stansbury musical chairs over here and talk about some of these new recruits, some of these guys on their way out? Going to have a different looking team, it looks like, next year for the WKU Hilltoppers. And we're going to keep an eye on, I want you to keep an eye on the WKU softball Lady Tops and the WKU baseball team. And we got 2 golfers playing in a big tournament with great honors. And maybe we'll touch on that too. But we'll definitely swing around and talk some Hilltoppers next Tuesday along with some more NBA.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
All right, Vegas Frank, we'll be right back on the Sports Web, ESPN 102.7.
You're playing golf and you're going to like it.
Time to go home there, boss. I can make it across. Well, then do it.
Well, you got all of that.
Why didn't you just go home? That's your home. Are you too good for your home? Answer me.
Knock it on. Let her rip.
It's in the hole. By the way, what did Mr. Webb shoot this morning?
It's time for Gary on the Green. Gary on the Green is brought to you by Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill on Old Louisville Road and online at bowlinggreenfireplace.com. Call 270-495-1131.
You heard it right there, folks. Gary on the Green with longtime golfer and great college coach, Mr. Adam Gary, PGA teaching pro. He's on the Line X hotline, Line X Bedliners. Get over there and see Roger and Gina. Brought to you by Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill. It's about time to get those grills fired up, Adam.
I know. I'm ready for summer. I am definitely there.
Yeah, we're almost there, buddy. It's starting to feel some heat, starting to get warm out there. It's going to be good stuff. It's starting to heat up on the PGA Tour. We're starting to see it, with the Great Masters and a few tournaments. But you got a great story coming out of PGA I want you to share.
Yeah, Max Homa's story this weekend, winning the Wells Fargo. I mean, that's kind of under the radar. Maybe not a lot of people know about it. His story of perseverance. He played college golf at Cal Berkeley, and then was NCAA champ. Beat John Rahm in the finals his senior year. Turns pro same year as Justin Thomas. They actually made their debut in the same tournament. Max finished 9th, and Justin finished 72nd, I believe. So if you would have thought that they would be on the same trajectories, it kind of went opposite directions from there. 2 years ago, he made 2 of 17 cuts, made $18,000 on the year. Kind of kept his sense of humor, though. I mean, if you follow him on Twitter, Max Homa, it's a great follow. And one of his stories, he's kept his sense of humor, like I said, because he said he's had a large request for caddies because they heard that they have weekends off. So he's able to make jokes about it. But, I mean, last year he actually birdied his last 4 holes in his second-to-last tournament just to make enough money to get back out on tour, and then he wins this year. So That's going to get him in the Masters, and that's going to get him a 2-year exemption. So things have definitely turned around for him. So that's a great story of really being in a bad place and then coming back from it.
Yeah, and a good segue to announcing about Tiger Woods awarded the Medal of Freedom. That's pretty awesome. And another story, maybe a little different, but another story that shows, hey, if you don't give up on your dream and you really put in 100, something's going to happen. It may not be the pinnacle you're thinking of, but something's going to happen. And both of those stories kind of ring true to that old adage. Yeah,
absolutely. I think that it's a good time in the game of golf, and like you said, this is the thing that's starting to heat up with Tiger and with the resurgence and all the TV ratings that have been up. I think the interest in golf is definitely starting to peak a little.
It most definitely is, Coach, and I owe all that gratitude to Adam Gary, because you basically set the stage for golf, my friend. And when I think of golf, I think about Adam Gary. I mean, I really do. And that's why I love this. I'm fluffing you up a little bit, but that's why I love this segment, because we do things like this. We do golf tips, and we've been doing them absolutely free golf tips to the radio world. Listening to Sports Web has gotten over 248 golf tips from Adam Gary, and we've only copied them maybe twice in all of those episodes, and those are things we just needed to cover again. We're going to cover something we haven't covered ever, and that's the release of the golf club, and I think what that means is after your ball and your club pass through the hitting area there, and you make contact, that right after that is the release, if I'm not wrong. And then I want you to tell me, is that something that decreases your loft, or can you mess with your loft on where you release the club? Will it cause you to hook it or slice? Is it, does it add speed? Does it take away speed? Kind of explain releasing the golf club and your thoughts on that and where it should happen.
Yeah, this is a pretty in-depth topic here. The way I define the release is when the club head passes your hands. And it can happen at different times. Like maybe a higher handicapper might release it too soon. The club passes on the downswing, and that's a slice, or that's a high, weak shot because you've added some loft to the club. And just on the opposite, I don't see it as much in my lessons, but you can have too much lag and hold on to it and not release it. That tends to leave the face open, kind of slows you down also because you're not getting the whip from it. I kind of relate it to snapping a towel if the towel's wet. So if you just throw it over, it's not going to go very fast. But if you snap it and whip it at the right time, that's when you're going to get the most speed out of it. And it also helps you square up the club face if you're relating it to golf. So what you're really wanting to do is just line up your left arm and shaft right at impact, and then right after impact is where the club is going to pass your hands. And that's going to help you have a good square face and the right trajectory on it, and also have the most power.
You got to whip it good. Down, 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 down. That's what you make me think of when you're talking about the whip. And it's so important if you watch, and we're not talking Major League Baseball whip. We're talking golf and the release of the club. And if you watch the pros, they do exactly that. It is just like Indiana Jones when he takes his whip out and pops it. I mean, they're getting every bit of their physics, every bit of their power, and that's why they're hitting it 340 yards at them.
Absolutely, yeah. These guys are athletes, and the technology with the launch monitors and everything else, force plates, it's really helped increase the knowledge of the science of the swing to where those athletes can maximize what they have, and it's impressive to watch.
Well, we won't keep you much longer because I know during the off season is where your real work sets in, Adam. I mean, there's so many things you've got to do to get ready for the fall and these ladies and getting things on track and recruiting all at the same time. And good luck out there on the recruiting trail, my friend.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me today.
Whip it good. We'll be right back. Sports Web, ESPN 102.7. It's time for Culver's High School Baseball or Softball Player of the Week. Welcome to Delicious. Visit Culver's, Scottsville Road, locally owned and operated. Culver's of Bowling Green, Kentucky, 4903 Scottsville Road, Bowling Green, home of the flavor of the day. And now, your High School Player of the Week. ESPN 102.7 Sports Web here. I'm over at Montana Grill witnessing the signing of one Emmy Bender. Been living under a rock and don't know what she's done at Greenwood High School over the past few years. You're going to find out more and more about it right here because they were a powerhouse, and a lot of that due to this young lady. Before we bring her on, I just want to kind of run down, and we're over here getting the signing done right now, and her father had some unbelievable words. Her coach, Morgan Shipley, had some great things to say about her. And I can already tell what they said rings true about this young lady. But she's had over, during her Lady Gator career, she had over 120 wins as a Lady Gator, 2 Elite 8 experiences at the KHSAA State Tournament, KVCA second-team All-State as a senior this year. Bravo 18U went 32-10, match record, number 1 ranking in Pioneer Region. Greenwood Gator, Emmy Bender, right here, signs with Transylvania University. Emma, first of all, Emmy, they call you M or something, right?
Yes, they do.
All
sometimes
right.
M, sometimes Lou.
Sometimes Lou. All right, you have to tell me about that one. But first of all, you just experienced signing a university. You're going to extend your volleyball career, which has already been illustrious. How's it feel right now? Just have signed.
I'm really excited. I've been a little bit nervous for it, just because being in front of a lot of people. But I'm just so excited to get to play at Transy that everything is happy right now.
Well, I mean, it's going to be hard to put those high school years and those travel years to bed and start this new journey in your life. But how excited are you to get it going?
I'm very excited. We have a group text and Snapchat with all the freshman girls. So we're kind of getting used to each other, talking about going to college and volleyball and our summer workouts. And so it's kind of getting me ready to go ahead and start.
Well, we already know what a excellent volleyball player you are, but you go to college for other things too, friends, sororities, whatever you're going to get yourself into up there. But we also go for that education, which takes us forever. And hopefully there'll be pro volleyball that you can get into, because I guarantee you're a candidate, Emmy. But what kind of studies? We know Transy's kind of a medical, kind of a pre-med type situation. Are you thinking about going into that medical field?
I haven't really made a decision yet. I was thinking pre-med, maybe biology, just something that I could have a lot of careers in if I needed to use it.
Awesome volleyball career and getting ready to embark on a new journey in your life. Let me ask you this. Who would you say has been there through thick and thin, always there, taking you here and there before you could drive, getting you in the right places? Who have been some of your rocks along the way?
Other than my family, definitely Julia Kennedy. She's been my best friend. She was my setter. We've played together for like 6 years, and so she's just kind of been my person. If it's a bad game or if I don't have a ride, I can't drive yet, she was always there to pick me up, and we made some great memories.
Awesome. If you can recall one, what stands out as your number one match? I mean, what do you always revert back to when you think, wow, that was so special, and you'll carry the rest of your life? Because first of all, your dad told us about your kill percentage. That is incredible, 48% almost. I mean, that's unbelievable. You're not going to get much past Emmy Bender, but take it back. Is there a special match?
I think maybe one of my most favorite matches was sophomore year. We had lost to South Warren District, and I was just ready to play. I was so excited. And so region came around, and it was probably, not to be cocky, but one of my best games I've ever played and one of the most fun games. Our team got along really well. We all played really hard, and we ended up winning.
That's funny that you bring that. I actually remember that, and that was my first time of really knowing who Emmy Bender was. I mean, because you were all over BKO,
That was awesome. What a great one to pick out. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure. Let you get back in here and hang out with all your peers. Thanks for doing Sports Web tonight, and it's been an honor to get to see you sign with Transylvania University.
Thank you.
We'll be right back on the Sports Web, ESPN 102.7.